Welcome to the History AI podcast, where the past comes alive with facts, anecdotes, and a dash of humor. Here are your hosts, Chuck and Marco.
Hey listeners, welcome back to another episode of the History AI podcast. I'm Chuck, and I've got my co-host Marco here with me. How's it going, Marco?
Fantastic, Chuck. Ready to dive deep into some history. Speaking of which, who are we talking about today?
We're diving into the story of Crispus Attucks, an iconic figure in American history.
The Boston Massacre.
That's right, but there's so much more to Attucks than just that event. Today, we'll journey from his early life to his unforgettable role in the Boston Massacre.
Alright, let's get started.
Crispus Attucks was believed to have been born around 1723 in Framingham, Massachusetts. As with many historical figures from that time, there's a bit of mystery surrounding his early life.
And his family history, right? From what I recall, he was of African and Native American descent.
Absolutely. His father was said to be an African slave, and his mother, a Native American from the Natick tribe. This mixed heritage made him an interesting figure even in his time.
Talk about a rich tapestry of cultures. So, given his background, was he a slave or a free man?
That's a debated topic. Some believe he was a slave who escaped his master in Framingham around the age of 27, while others argue that he was a free man who worked as a sailor and whaler.
Speaking of sailing, let's navigate to his political beliefs. I remember Attucks wasn't just some random figure in the crowd, he had strong political leanings.
Absolutely. While direct evidence of his beliefs is sparse, we can infer from his actions and the tumultuous times he lived in. The colonies were growing increasingly discontented with British rule. Acts like the Stamp Act and Townshend Acts infuriated many, and Crispus was likely no exception.
Right, heavy taxation without representation was quite the bane. It set the stage for larger confrontations like the one in which Attucks played a central role.
The Boston Massacre. On March 5, 1770, tensions between the colonists and British soldiers reached a boiling point. A crowd gathered, confronting a British sentry outside the Customs House in Boston. They were angry, and they were vocal.
As any Boston crowd would be.
Indeed. Things escalated quickly when more troops, led by Captain Thomas Preston, arrived. With snowballs, stones, and sticks flying, the scene became chaotic.
And then enters Attucks.
Right. Some reports suggest that he was leading the crowd. He became one of the first, if not the very first, to fall when the British soldiers opened fire. His death, along with 4 others, became a rallying cry for the Patriots.
A tragic event, but it played a significant role in propelling the colonies towards the Revolutionary War.
A silver lining, if you will. Following the event, Paul Revere crafted an engraving that portrayed the massacre. It's one of the most iconic images from that era. Although not completely accurate, it effectively fueled anti-British sentiments.
Speaking of fueling sentiments, remember that time when Samuel Adams used the event to his advantage?
Oh, definitely. Adams, a master propagandist, used the Boston Massacre as a way to rally people against British tyranny. But let's not forget John Adams, who surprisingly defended the British soldiers during their trial.
Quite the twist in the tale. Shows the complexity of the times.
When the world hits hard, hit back harder with Strike Force Energy. The zero sugar, zero calorie, power-packed energy drink additive that fuels your adventure. Just a quick squeeze turns any drink into a relentless power source. Perfect for your workout, your hike, your life. Ready to strike? Visit strikeforceenergy.com, use coupon code UTSALAX24 for an explosive 20% off your order. Strike Force Energy, unleash your potential. Strike Force Energy, fuel the fight within you.
Alright, back to Attucks. One thing that stands out is how his legacy has been used and remembered.
Oh, for sure. Over time, he's been revered as a symbol of freedom, especially in the African American community. He embodies resistance and the fight against oppression.
Not just in America, but globally. His story resonates with anyone who values freedom and equality.
Before we wrap up, here's a fun fact. Did you know there's a theory that the term, at loggerheads, originated from the name Attucks?
Really? So the next time I'm at loggerheads with someone, I can thank Mr. Attucks?
Maybe. Though it's more folklore than fact, it's a fun tidbit to consider.
And on that note, listeners, it's time for us to sign off. We hope you enjoyed this dive into the life and legacy of Crispus Attucks.
And don't forget to check out our other episodes on the History AI podcast. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious.